Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another video of Green Square Talks Battlebots. So, yeah, the Golden Bolt tournament is all figured out now. We've seen Tombstone, Tantrum, Endgame clinch their spots via being a giant nut winner, and then the other five won their way through the first 5 episodes, and this bracket was put together then. I'm guessing they seeded lots of these robots based off of their performances from this season or something like that. So, yeah, I'm joined by not just Pory this time, but Blaze and Civilian Arc are both here to share their predictions as well. So, how's it going, all three of you?
Mammoth. Just that's it.
I'm doing good, Jason. How you doing?
Yeah, Jason, how's it going?
But yeah, our episode recap of the most recent episode is not out yet this time. We had to reschedule it, but we got something really good planned for that one that I bet a lot of you will enjoy. So yeah, and so this one is coming out first, but yeah, let's go ahead.
Wait.
What's up?
Are we sure they seeded them and then just ran and it just happened to be placed in all 4 quadrants just happened to have a rematch?
I don't know,
but
yeah.
See, when they seed brackets, it's always like they're the seeding. I mean, obviously the seeding never makes sense.
I have a feeling they just took 2 bots and just they took 2 bots. Oh, they fought. Let's put them in a rematch.
That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, because pretty much because as Blaze is saying, all 4 of these are technically a rematch, because Tombstone, Tantrum, Rivot, Endgame, Scorpios, Hypershock have all fought, Witch Doctor and Glitch were supposed to fight, but then Glitch had to forfeit, unfortunately. But we get to see that matchup for real this time, so...
They're not forfeiting for one. They're not forfeiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
I am glad though, because Glitch definitely was way better prepared during their tourney, according to what they were talking about in their episode of Battlebots Champions. So, yeah, I doubt there's gonna be a forfeit from Glitch, and I just knocked on wood just because, yeah.
Well, I mean, they'd have a trailer for the episode.
But what I'm more talking about is if they won the fight, do they drop out afterwards? Which is why I knocked on wood, which I hope doesn't happen. So, because that's a lame way to go out. Yeah. Anyway, let's go. We'll talk about all these fights one by one. I do have it set up to where all 4 of us have a separate bracket, but that won't start till the final 4 of this thing. So. Yeah, we'll go ahead and run through each of these fights one by one. We're going to start it off with Tombstone and Tantrum, the first fight, at least on this bracket on the top right. And I'm going to let you 3 go first, so why don't you guys go ahead and share your prediction, and you can share reasoning if you want. I don't care.
Alright, I'll go first. Tantrum is going to beat Tombstone because Tombstone's a piece of shit, and Tantrum is very well good at changing horizontal.
So, here's my thing. I think Tantrum is gonna get some good hits on Tombstone, destroy that weapon. Not destroy that weapon, but Tombstone's weapon is probably gonna die at some point. However, I'll be completely honest, this is probably the first round prediction I'm least confident on, as we've still seen Tantrum, it doesn't handle horizontals the best, and while Tombstone's not the best performing horizontal, it's definitely in the running for the most destructive horizontal still to this day, so I think if Tantrum can handle the first few shots, then it's good, but if it can't, then it's fucked. Pory?
What you got, Pory?
Tantrum's gonna go into the battle box, and he's gonna fucking clap Tombstone's cheeks. It's gonna be like a fucking a Pussycat Dolls video where Tombstone's cheeks are just gonna fucking clap the whole time, and it's gonna get fucking trashed. I love you, Tombstone, but Tantrum is it's not the same Tantrum you fought 4 years ago. This is a whole other beast. And while Tantrum does struggle with the horizontals, I don't think Tombstone is reliable enough to really get the dub in this case.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is a very interesting wording on what Tantrum's going to do to Tombstone. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, Blaze knows this is coming. Pory probably knows this is coming. Civ probably knows what is coming now after I'm hinting at this. But I'm going Tombstone for this one, actually. But I just want to say, like, I'm really glad another fight is happening here, because probably my favorite fight from the 2018 season was Tombstone and Tantrum. Including one of my favorite moments in Battlebots history was when Tantrum's fist got stuck in the glass like that. Like, that was such an incredible moment. But yeah, I gotta go spicy somewhere in the bracket, and yeah, I think this is what I'm going for, especially after seeing the trailer. By the way, Battlebots, choose different fight moments when it comes to those things, because I definitely get it, like that they're trying to hype. I definitely get it that they're trying to hype people up with the trailer, but some of the trailers they've been making, I feel, are a bit could be spoiler worthy. And while I am prepared to be surprised, they showed some pretty big moments, I feel. But that's not why I'm picking Tombstone, because like this is either Tombstone's either a hit and miss type thing. Basically, because like Tombstone's been inconsistent all season with either drive problems or weapon problems. If one of those two things happens early in the match, Tantrum wins this easily. Because, like I think Civ said, Pory might have mentioned this, I don't remember, but Tantrum can take hits very well, but if Tombstone is functioning like at 100% like it's supposed to, which I hope it will, because I want to see a Tombstone working at 100%, and I think Tombstone could have a really good shot at taking apart Tantrum and potentially winning that fight. So yeah, I'm gonna go a little interesting and pick Tombstone for this one. Okay, anything else on Tombstone Tantrum, or should we go to Rivot Endgame?
Yeah.
Okay, Pory, why don't you start it off with Rivot Endgame, since you're the outsider, at least in this bunch, or whatever you call that.
Okay, so Rivot is the greatest combat robot of all time in any weight class. And
I thought that was Bung.
Shut up, Blaze. Bung isn't here yet. Then they will be. But see, here's the thing. So we know the configurations that they're using. It's a smart idea. It's a very smart idea. They're using they're
not to interrupt you, Pory, but I'm gonna.
Against...
yeah, not to interrupt you, Pory, but yeah, like Pory said, they're going with the undercutter for this one, as revealed in the trailer. Go ahead, Pory.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're going with the undercutter, which is a smart choice because they're more mobile with the undercutter. They can like drive better. David Jin's better at driving with that. Plus, you're gonna get fucked if you try to outfork Endgame. Like you're not gonna beat Endgame in the ground game. Like that's just not gonna happen. So
except if you do.
What?
Well, except Hydra, he beat Endgame in the ground
game. Yeah, but then they got their
To be fair, Endgame had shitty fork design that fight, so I don't think that's relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
I think like Endgame after that probably would have beaten Hydra in ground game. But anyways, so I feel that Rivot is probably the more durable robot or the better robot. They've beaten Endgame before. They're gonna fucking kill Endgame. And it's gonna be great. I'm sure Endgame will have some good moments, and Endgame could take it absolutely. Don't get me wrong, but I gotta back my frog. I don't pull a Captain Mantine and go, "Woe is me, it's over." Whenever a challenging foe appears, we're gonna fight him, and it's gonna be great.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll go next then, and I'm picking Endgame for this one. I do support the idea of using the undercutter configuration for this one, like Pory said, because if they went with the vertical spinner and went with forks, no shot they win the ground game against Endgame, I feel.
Yeah.
Unless if David Jin can use a really good driving tactic in order to bend the forks on endgame, I don't think they're gonna win. They would win a head-on exchange. Plus, with the undercutter, they could try to go for a similar strategy to what Rivot did with Deep Six. Try to take advantage of all the gyroscopic forces. But the thing is that hasn't worked out for anybody so far. It didn't work out for Whiplash. Let's see, who else would there be? I don't think many other robots have
Witch
plotted to
Doctor?
try to take advantage of that. Yeah, maybe Witch Doctor too. But regardless, though, I bet that's gonna be Rivot's strategy for this one. But if those two go weapon on weapon, that frog is going to be more than just hopping. That thing's going to grow a pair of wings because of how high it's going to be flying if they go weapon on weapon with each other. And like, yeah,
Oh my.
the one big what I suspect is either Endgame's going to win this because they have the better weapon, and because a weapon on weapon exchange, Endgame wins hands down, no doubt. But I feel Ribot's big opportunity is if they can either outdrive Endgame and maybe get to the backside, which I kind of doubt's going to happen because Jack does an amazing job driving Endgame and like patiently waiting for their opponents and avoiding letting them take advantage of their gyro issues. Or if the same thing that happened last time happens, where Ribot outlasted Endgame, because like Endgame has said on social media, their robot isn't exactly meant to go the full 3 minutes and go to the judges. They're meant to go for knockouts, and they felt that's kind of what costed them in the Minotaur fight. Which, yeah, in a way I agree with, but I think they definitely have the advantage in this one. That's why I'm going to Endgame. So, long talk from me, Civ and Blaze. What are your predictions for this one?
All right, I'll go next. And Pory, I love you, buddy. I love you, but Ribot has not taken on a decent spinner yet in this competition. It fought three lifters, three lifters / grappler bots. Took a fat Elder Hydra. Took out a cannon robot. Which by the way is the only robot who's been able to take out the head besides Hydra. Right now, Deep Six. My apologies. Wait, I don't remember, and I don't care. Never mind.
I mean, it fought Malice and Deep Six. Those are good. Those are
Yeah, I
all
would
good
consider
spinners.
Malice and Deep
Let me get
Six
to
be
that,
good
nerds.
spinners.
Malice
And Lockjaw.
Lockjaw is not good this season. No shot.
Lockjaw's bro.
Lockjaw's mid.
Lockjaw's worse than Mammoth. I mean, wait, what?
No shot.
You're wrong there.
Wrong way.
So it fights Malice, who is a good spinner bot, but it's also extremely inconsistent. It's like watching the fucking Arizona Cardinals play. So yeah, Malice, good robot, not great at consistency. So there's that going for it. And Deep Six, who let's be honest here, Deep Six barely got a hit on Ribot. But we're talking about a robot who has much more mobility, a better driver, probably more effective. Well, I wouldn't say more effective, but a really good weapon. I don't know how Ribot's gonna be able to avoid a head-on collision with Endgame. I mean, Witch Doctor tried the driving around. Everyone's forgetting the important part. Witch Doctor tried this driving around strategy too, and Endgame was like, "No, fuck you." And well,
Well, you can't say everyone's forgetting about that because I haven't gone yet. So
I think Endgame is going to nay on bot, get some revenge in, and yeah, Endgame's going to the semis. Fat Elda.
all right, okay, here. I'm also going on game, but it's mainly because I don't see how Ribot could beat Endgame because their driving style fits Endgame's driving style perfectly. Because, like Civ said, they're probably going to try to drive around Endgame, which Endgame driving style is sit and wait for their opponents to come to them and then take advantage. Okay, there we go.
Fair enough, but yeah, I would love to see Ribot take this. Like, we already know that frog's gonna be flying in this fight, and I personally would be impressed if Ribot wins this fight. like more than I was after the uppercut fight.
The trailer
That if Rivot manages to win this fight just by outlasting Endgame,
True.
similar to what happened in 2019, because Endgame like definitely looks a lot better than they did in 2019. So I think that'd be harder for it to happen, but you kind of get the idea. It should be a great match either way, and I'm looking forward to it. So, any other last words, Pory, before we get to Witch Doctor Glitch?
No, I mean it could go either way, and that's okay. If Rivot loses Endgame, I mean it's a formidable foe for sure. But I'm not gonna stop believing in Rivot.
All right. Yeah.
Good for you.
Next up, we got Witch Doctor and Glitch. So this fight was originally supposed to happen in the top 32, but then Glitch unfortunately had to forfeit, and then Mammoth took its place, where those two ended up fighting in the top 32. Well, we actually get to see them fight for real this time, so go ahead, Blaze, if you'd like to start off.
We don't talk about the Mammoth fight.
Oh.
Alright, first of all, we don't talk about the Mammoth Witch Doctor fight, okay? Second of all, Witch Doctor's gonna beat Glitch. Because, well, Witch Doctor's not gonna, probably not gonna go head on with Glitch, is what pretty much everyone else did. They're probably gonna take a retrograde approach and try to outdrive him. Because Witch Doctor doesn't have good ground game, unless they're running that weird fork configuration. But even then, I still don't see why they would try to just run at Glitch. So yeah, Witch Doctor is going to be smart, hopefully, and beat Glitch.
I have interesting intel for this, but Sid can go first because there's a lot to get into.
My take on this is that well, here's my thing. These are, in terms of like weapon and position of weaponry, these two are actually kind of similar in terms of it, as in they don't have much ground game and go on for contact over low ground. Well, I guess Glitch does have forks, but if they're smart, they're just gonna de-dox them out of existence. Yeah. So it's all about like which weapon is gonna hit the hardest, and I mean, yeah, man, Glitch's weapon has hit hard, and it has gotten some decent shots in, but this is Witch Doctor we're talking about here. I mean, like, if there's anyone who has a powerful vert that's not like a big scary one, such as like uppercut or deep six, it's Witch Doctor. So I kind of have to go with a Witch Doctor here, just because I feel it has a better driver, better maneuverability, and just better weapon overall.
Alright. Yeah, since Pory's got intel, I'll go next then. So, yeah, I'm going with Witch Doctor for this fight. I feel Witch Doctor's strategy is probably going to be the same strategy that many robots were using to take on Glitch during Battlebots Champions. Take advantage of their drive, because their drive is definitely their weakness here. Because, like, if these two go ahead on, I think Glitch is going to win it hands down, regardless if Witch Doctor brings forks or not for this fight, which I don't think they are. But if they go head on, whatever the name is that Mantine named his series, whatever that is, one of you can chime in.
Kill yourself on Glitch.
Yeah.
Kill yourself on Glitch.
If Witch Doctor goes head on with Glitch, I think it's just going to result in that. Well, I do think Witch Doctor is more capable to be able to take a hit from Glitch compared to like some of the other robots that have taken hits and had major issues afterwards. Like, I think Glitch would still win regardless if that would happen. But I'm going Witch Doctor because I guarantee they're probably going with the same strategy they attempted to go with Copperhead, where they didn't want to go weapon on weapon. They're probably going to be aiming for the sides and the back side. And, like, I don't think Glitch is going to be able to handle more than a few hits from Witch Doctor, because like Civ said, Witch Doctor's weapon is frightening. Like, definitely they did take hits very well from Retrograde and even the couple of shots that they took from Rotator, but I would say Witch Doctor's weapon is still like on another level compared to even Rotator in a way. But Rotator's weapon is pretty relatively even, I would say, because that one also has some big damaging capabilities. But if Witch Doctor can do that, I think they're gonna win by knockout. So my pick is Witch Doctor. Go ahead, Pory, with what you got for this one, and then
Okay,
you can go ahead and lead off with Scorpios for Hypershock once you're done with that.
okay, yeah. So Witch Doctor could definitely beat Glitch. Don't get me wrong, but there's a few things to consider. Uh, this is Witch Doctor's 9th fight this season, and they've been in 9 fights and they made it to the finals. Then they fought Whiplash. So Witch Doctor is probably pretty worn out. And notice in the Whiplash fight what disc Witch Doctor used. He used the single
yeah,
disc.
because they mentioned they used the single disc because they had to because they weren't able to. I think it was some frame damage, something like that.
Tantrum messed up their bottom
yeah.
Tantrum messed them up so bad that they couldn't open up the robot to switch out the weapon. Like they're worn out, like straight up. Like which the only way I think Witch Doctor is going to win this is if they quickly take out Glitch, which they could do. They're not incapable of it. It's not a bad robot, but I don't know if I feel like if Witch Doctor gets hit by that weapon even once or twice, like they're gonna be feeling it, I think, and that's why I gotta definitely. That's my reasoning. But it could go either way. That's like probably my least confident of the four, to be honest.
That's a fair prediction.
Not confident. We have
Yeah. Oh, I just said that was a fair prediction.
There's Scorpios versus Hypershock. Yeah, there's Scorpios versus Hypershock, which my heart's telling me that Hypershock is gonna win this just because of how terrifying they were in the bounty. I mean, that bounty run was insane, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But thing to consider is the fact that Scorpios and Hypershock, this is their 3rd time meeting. This is the modern day Hypershock versus Bite Force, and both times they met up before, Scorpios won. So it's not impossible for Scorpios to win, but I think Hypershock, if the only way they're gonna lose, I think, is if they goof up, like like the P1 fight where they're like on their head for the whole fight, or if somehow there's some gremlins, which they haven't really had the gremlins this year though. Like they lost the P1 fight because they were flipped upside down and they didn't have foresight with the bunny ears. But that said, I think I'm definitely gonna go Hypershock on this, beating Scorpios.
Right. Can I go next?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Like Pory said, this is the 3rd time that they're meeting. However, the first 2 times that they met is probably the 2 seasons that Hypershock was shit. And I do think Hypershock's gonna beat Scorpios, but this is probably the pick that I'm least confident on because I could definitely see Scorpios beating Hypershock. I think that it's all gonna come down to Will's driving.
Alright, so Hypershock and Scorpios, here's my take. I don't think there's much Scorpios can do against Hypershock. I mean, with Hypershock's big-ass wheels, even if Scorpios gets under Hypershock, it's just gonna, like, wiggle its way out of there. There's no way Scorpios can really control Hypershock in any way, shape, or form. Like, 2020 and 2018, sure, because 2018 Hypershock was kind of a little nuts, and 2020 Hypershock wasn't the quickest bud in the shed either. So, but like 2021 Hypershock, that thing's like speedy, man. And I don't think there's much Scorpios can do to really counter that. I think Hypershock just has a powerful weapon, great driver, and great ground game, so I'm going Hypershock.
Yeah, solid. So, yeah. My prediction is going to be Hypershock for this one as well. But the one thing I'll be wondering is, like, how is Scorpios going to counter Hypershock this time around? Because Hypershock's almost certainly going to be going for ground game in this one, and then going to use Will's driving to, like, determine the pace of the fight. That's certainly going to be Hypershock's strategy for this fight. What I'm wondering about with Scorpios is, are they possibly going to come with an interesting setup this time around? Like what they did with Endgame, which, even though that didn't work out for them, they're trying some front armor configurations to counter the ground game exactly. So, could Scorpios be coming with something interesting for this fight? I don't know anything to my knowledge, but regardless though, while Zach is also a great driver, if Hypershock is to determine the pace of this fight, I think Hypershock is going to win this one, and pretty easily. But I would love to see Scorpios take this one, but they haven't done the best against Verds that go for ground game, at least. And that's kind of what I'm betting and what could cost them in this fight. But I'm ready to be surprised, though, so. Yeah, anything else regarding this fight or this round, or should we get to round 2?
Round 2, baby.
Round 2. Here's round 2, so it's probably a little tricky to see, but we got all 4 of our brackets up there with our predictions. 3 out of 4 of us, they match. And yeah, so we'll just go through each of these one by one. And so, yeah, we got 3 different matchups for that first set. We have myself with a Tombstone endgame rematch. Pory has Rivot and Tantrum in there, and then both Blaze and Civ have a Tantrum endgame rematch. So we'll go through each of these matchups one by one. I'll share my Tombstone endgame take. Pory will do his Tantrum Rivot thing, and then Civ and Blaze will do their Tantrum endgame thing. So. Yeah, so I'll lead it off with the Tombstone Tantrum bits, Tombstone Endgame. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. So, yeah, so with Tombstone Endgame here, I think Endgame wins that one pretty quickly and pretty easily. Once again, similar to last time, because like Endgame is. I feel like Endgame's definitely gonna be. Endgame proved they were very well built to take hits from Tombstone the first time, and I suspect I don't think they've fought a horizontal so far this season, but I bet they definitely have a good configuration to easily counter Tombstone once again, and I bet Endgame wins this one in pretty quick fashion. So, yeah, we go the Rivot Tantrum gang. What you got, Pory?
What?
Rivot Tantrum.
Rivot is gonna prove it as the superior frog robot. It's gonna beat the crap out of Tantrum. It's gonna be. I think this fight would probably be a good idea to go the vert route. I mean, Tantrum's not incapable of it. Obviously, it's a champion, so I mean, it could go either way. But you gotta back Rivot.
So you're saying that a robot that heavily struggles against horizontals so Rivot taking on a robot that gets heavily it has a disadvantage against horizontals. Rivot should you still use the vertical?
Well, Rivot's horizontal isn't as like heavy hitting as Rotator Gigabyte Tombstone, to be fair.
Yeah, but Rivot's an undercutter, is it not?
Yeah, but I mean, could it
just not like say, "Hey, fuck you, Tantrum Forks," and then rip those 2 babies off, and then?
Well, I mean, I think Tantrum would be prepared for horizontals if Rivot went with the horizontal.
Oh wait, yeah, it has the wedge thing.
Never mind. I mean, it has a wedge thing. So if it had only forks, then yeah, horizontal would be the way to go. But I'm not on the team, so I could be very wrong. You could be right with that.
I personally feel if Rivot did fight Tantrum in this round, I think they would go with the undercutter for this one for that extra mobility, try to get to maybe the sides of the backside. But you could very easily be right. I think either one of those weapons could be a reasonable choice depending on what Rivot wants to go for.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blaze and Civ, you two want to go next then with your endgame Tantrum fight.
Alright, Civ, do you want to go first?
Okay, so, first off, I want to give my opinions on, actually, no, never mind. Okay, so, Tantrum Endgame, I was actually at first gonna go Tantrum to beat Endgame, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, no, sorry, Tantrum. I think Tantrum has a good enough driver to take Endgame out, but I don't think, Tantrum has the weapon power to take Endgame out. I think Endgame, just like one hit by Endgame Spinner can. That's the thing about it. Endgame's a lot like vertical Spinner Tombstone. Like, like back in the day, Tombstone, you can body Tombstone all you want, but if Tombstone just gets that one hit on you, then it's game over. Endgame's a lot like that. Like, you can push around Endgame, get under it, but if it gets under you, you're fucked. And I think there's not really a situation Tantrum can be in where it's not gonna get Endgame won't get under it at least once. So I'm gonna go Endgame.
I mean, it used to be your brand, so.
Yeah.
Yep, gotta support your brand, Sev. What you got, Blaze?
Alright, I'm also going endgame for this. I'm going endgame because, well, this fight has happened before. And like, I really don't like they have a different driver, yes, but realistically, I don't see how Tantrum can beat Endgame because Tantrum, like Civ said, Tantrum has a good driver, but not that great of a weapon. And Endgame, if they get it underneath once or twice, it's gonna probably be game over for Tantrum. So yeah, Endgame's gonna end Tantrum's game.
Fair enough. Alright, let's go ahead and move to the right side of the final four, where 3 out of 4 of us have Witch Doctor, Hypershock in here, and then Pory has Glitch and Hypershock. So, Pory, you want to go first with your Glitch Hypershock fight there?
Wait, hold on. I don't think. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. I don't think I was here for this. Why do you think Glitch is gonna beat Witch Doctor?
I explained it.
Yeah, he said that.
No. I was looking for my phone. I was looking for my phone.
Well, what he mentioned is what he mentioned is Witch Doctor, which Pory's actually valid from what I've heard with that point he made. He mentioned that Witch Doctor could be on their last legs right now because they're 9 fights into this, and even I've heard prior to this that Witch Doctor was on their last few spares for several different parts at the final for Tantrum, and so his point there.
Civ, look at it. Civ, look at it like this. Witch Doctor used its single disc configuration for the Whiplash fight, but that's because they literally Tantrum messed up their bottom so much they can't swap out like weapons and stuff. Like Witch Doctor is scuffed up from the fights, and I think if Glitch gets any decent hit on Witch Doctor, that could.
Yeah.
I mean that Witch Doctor doesn't. Witch Doctor's single disc isn't that shit. Like, look what it did to Whiplash. I mean,
I'm not saying about the weapon is an indicator of how they're feeling the 9 fights that they were in. Like, Witch Doctor's definitely worn for wear at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah, Pory, what do you got for Hypershock?
And you can make the same argument for Tantrum as well, but at least Team Tantrum has another robot in Blip, which probably functions in a similar way, I'd say. Like, they could probably, work that. They could probably Frankenstein something together, worst case scenario, but Witch Doctor, not so much. But anyways, yes, Glitch versus Hypershock. Hypershock probably wins it, to be honest. Unless they really goof it up. They pull a P1 moment. But, yeah, I'm going to go Hypershock on that.
Alright, so now it's Witch Doctor, Hypershock gang. Whoever wants to go first can.
Okay, so I'll go first. So my opinion on this is basically that Hypershock is speedy as fuck, and Glitch's what's the word for it? Omni wheels.
Yeah.
So Glitch's Omni wheels aren't gonna do much in this situation because while it could be able to, shut up. What do you want, boys?
I thought you were going Witch Doctor. Not Witch Hypershock.
God damn it, Pory just got into my head just now. I hate you, Pory. You got
Just
I
go,
know what I'm talking
Civ.
about.
Civ,
you
just
got in
go.
my you got in my head in Deadlift versus Blacksmith 2. Okay, so which Doctor is going to um, not win because Hypershock is box rushy and while I don't think ground game is never a huge problem for Witch Doctor, in this case it is because of the longevity of Hypershock's forks. Witch Doctor is only going to hit the forks and nothing else. Whereas for a case about Endgame, you can screw up the forks and you can also get to the base of the robot with somewhat ease. Kind of like Bite Force as well, but with Hypershock, those forks are long as hell.
Fair enough. Basically, I'm going Hypershock for this one because I think Witch Doctor's gonna. I think Hypershock's is gonna go with the wedgelets, try to win the ground game, dictate the pace of the fight as they were all of their Battlebots Champions fights. And I think if they do that, they're gonna win this fight pretty easily because even like what Pory said, with Witch Doctor being on their last legs, possibly, that could definitely cost them, at least, if they take too many hits from Hypershock. And, like, while I would love to see Witch Doctor win a fight like this and advance all the way to the Golden Bolt, I think it's probably unlikely, at least in this case, because Hypershock's been a beast all season, and I suspect something like that could be happening again here, so. Alright, so anything more to talk about this round?
Alright, can I go first?
Alright,
Because
we'll
I
do
have a
Endgame
pretty
Hypershock
interesting
gang, and then
champion.
Pory can
So,
end it with his Rivot Hypershock thing.
okay, so here's the thing. Mammoth is gonna come in and kick both Hypershock and Endgame's ass. Alright, there we go. Okay. Jokes aside, Hypershock, I feel this is a close match. This has happened before, but it can't. I feel like Hypershock be could beat Endgame, but it's very close, and I would not be sad with Endgame beating Hypershock. But yeah, Mammoth's gonna win the whole thing.
Fair enough. Civ, you want to go next?
Okay, so my two bots are Endgame and Hypershock, and my take is that Endgame has better ground game. Hypershock has more maneuverability than Endgame. And while Endgame's gyros don't exactly haunt them, Hypershock's much more faster than a robot like Witch Doctor or even Tantrum, if you want my opinion. Um, so I think Hypershock would pull it off, but like I said, Endgame just needs that one hit, and then everyone's life is basically over. There's very few robots that have been able to recover from a hit right to the face from Endgame. The only robot that really has managed to do that is Minotaur. And so yeah, it could really go either way, but I think if Will's driving game is on point, I think Hypershock will win it.
Yeah, and so as for Endgame and Hypershock, shut up. As for Endgame Hypershock, I am going Endgame for this fight, actually. Yeah, because, like, basically how I see this fight going down exactly is both robots are going to go for ground game. But Will is probably going to try to dictate the pace of the fight as he usually does and do a bunch of donuts around Endgame, because I feel Endgame would not win a head-on exchange, or I feel Endgame would win a head-on exchange with Hypershock, basically, because Endgame is one of the masters of the ground game. I feel if there are any robots that are like masters of the ground game, it's Endgame, Sawblaze, and Hydra, at least. So, yeah. Regardless, though, like, I feel if Hypershock screws up with driving, like what they did the first time they fought, I think Endgame is gonna clap Hypershock in this one. But if Will can drive it perfectly, I could see Hypershock pulling it off very easily. But I think I'm going to go endgame with this one. But I bet it would be a great fight either way if these two do end up meeting in the final. So, Pory, what do you got for Rivot and Hypershock?
So I'm gonna kick Hypershock's ass, and it's gonna be awesome.
Which is sad.
And it's gonna be great. And
It would be
making
kind of
that-
epic to see Rivot win against everyone. It would be neat to see Rivot go all the way.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'd be totally down for watching Rivot hoisting the Golden Bolt.
At the end of the day, there's as long as the winner isn't one of the champions, if any of them win it, I'll be pretty excited about it. But we'll just have to see. It's anyone's game. Anyone could win it, but I gotta root for the frog always, and it'll be cool.
Valid.
That's fair. And so I'm gonna go.
So Mammoth is gonna win the whole thing.
Hold on.
It's gonna be Perfect Phoenix in the final. Right after it beats Deadlift, but barely. Yeah.
Deadlift would beat Mammoth for one. For two,
I
think
Phoenix would beat Mammoth.
Perfect Phoenix would beat Mammoth.
Wait.
Well, anyway, basically right up on the screen you see all our final brackets for this one. So, yeah, thanks for watching this podcast. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Check out Pory, Civilian, and Blaze's channels, which will all be linked down below in the description. They all make some pretty good content that's worthwhile to check out. And yeah, reply down below with all your predictions and everything. So, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.